All right, we're talking about having your cake and eating it too, but in this case, the cake is actually alcohol. We're talking about drinks in moderation, a healthy amount of maybe some wine or a cocktail. And of course, I'm joined by fitness guru Leanne Ellington. And you're saying if you're on a diet, pretty strict, you can have some alcohol, right?
Right. You know, everything, once again, in moderation. And there's a myth going around that every time you consume alcohol, your body immediately stores it as fat. Well, that's not particularly true. Basically, for every gram of alcohol, there's about 7 calories per gram, as opposed to carbs and protein have 4 calories per gram. Fat has about 9 calories per gram. So it is, you know, higher caloric density than food. But the truth of the matter is, instead of storing that alcohol as fat directly, your body views it as a toxin, and it wants to eliminate it immediately from your body. So what it does is it actually burns through the alcohol calories first and foremost, gets rid of those, so that whatever excess calories you have in your body that you're not burning from food, from ingested, you know, calories, is what would then be stored as fat. So your body does get rid of the alcohol, but you do have that propensity to store fat if you're consuming, because once again, too many calories, taking in more than you're burning, you're going to store that excess as fat.
I think that's new information. I don't think a lot of people know that. And maybe it's what you're eating when you're drinking the alcohol that could be the problem, right?
Absolutely, because it's not very often that, you know, on a normal night at 4 a.m. I feel like ordering a pizza. It's usually if I've had a couple of drinks in me. So it's you know, our inhibitions are less when we are under the influence of alcohol, and it makes us not think twice about ordering those foods. Also in terms of the quantity of the foods that we're taking in. And you know, the biggest thing for me is, you know, when I decide whether or not to have a glass of wine or two the night before, I think about the next day, because you know, everyone's different, but I feel the effects, you know, the day after. I feel sluggish, I feel tired, I feel dehydrated, and the next day is when I get kind of munchy. I'm craving the foods that I wouldn't normally crave. So it's just a matter of, you know, I find that I'm not productive the next day. So it all kind of, you know, if you're not, once again, maybe I'm not eating as much the next day, but I'm not burning as much either because I'm kind of lounging around.
So then what's the key? Is it just to drink in moderation, which is common sense and a healthy lifestyle, and then when you're drinking, maybe have a salad instead of the burger?
Hydration is going to be a big part, a big factor when it comes to the hunger, because a lot of it is just you're dehydrated. So for every glass of wine or beer that you have or drink that you have a glass of water equal parts. So 1-to-1 ratio of water to alcohol. That's a good rule of thumb. I find that, you know, just don't get started at night on the munching, because it's that endless pit usually. You know, if you're actually physically hungry, set aside, you know, the calories that you would have and the food qualities that you'd normally have at a regular meal that you'd eat when you weren't under the influence of alcohol, and put it away and just have that pre-portioned plan. And then the next day, you know, it's probably a good day to use your cheat meal if you want, or once again, set aside that pre-portioned meal before you know, sit down, so that you're not sitting in front of an open bag of chips or an endless array of, you know, copious amounts of food. You want to, you know, limit the quantity.
All right, good advice. Just don't do it then. Thanks, Leanne Ellington, for joining us. And of course, Julie, we can only have one glass of wine today. Tell us about